Hi, everybody. So, what have you been taught about talking with your family at the end of life? Hmm, that's right, nothing, or at least nothing good. Because we're so afraid to talk about death and dying. We think if we talk to someone we love who is dying and admit they're dying, they'll give up hope and die too fast. Or we think I'll start to cry and cause them more trauma. Or I'll make them cry and then I'll feel rotten. Or I'll say the wrong thing because I want to be perfect. So we avoid these conversations. We're afraid of what it can do, and we think I can't possibly do it right. You might be curious how I started doing this research, because it's such a happy topic. This is my mom, Patricia Power Keeley, and she died a little over 27 years ago. And my mom was a very private person. And we're not afraid to talk. Most people in my family are medical. We were talking, but we didn't know if we were doing it right. And one day, one of my brothers came up to me, Chris, and said, "Maureen, has Mom said anything profound to you?" I go, "What do you mean, Chris?" He goes, "Meaning of life or something I need to take with me." And I said, "Do you know Mom loves you?" He said, "Absolutely." "Do you know Mom's proud of you?" "Absolutely." I said, "Then what is she supposed to say to you?" I said, "If she thought she had to have a profound conversation with every person who walked through those doors, she was in pain, she was scared, she was sad, and she wasn't sure if there was something that came after. She would have bolted those doors because that would have been one more thing, too much to do." And so I started looking for answers. And hospice had this one cute little pamphlet this big that said communication's good, do it, the dying need it. I believe the dying want to talk with their loved ones, but I know for a fact communication is not always good. So I went looking for answers. You might want to know what my journey has looked like. I've done 5 major studies over the last 2 decades. I've done interviews with children as young as 5 years old, all the way through the age of 17. I've done interviews with adults all the way up to age 85. I've done 2 major quantitative studies where we were asking to find out if these themes I found out about, that I'll tell you about in a minute, whether they were true or not. So I've talked to about 700 people, which really is an honor, and I feel so proud of the fact that they shared their stories with me. You might want to know what final conversations are. Final conversations are all the conversations that occur between the moment of a terminal diagnosis and the moment of death. Or if you have someone who's older and you can see that their health is failing, that would also be a terminal diagnosis, but not by a doctor. We start to wonder when we should have these conversations. Have them sooner, because the longer you wait, the less they can participate in it. So what are the 6 themes of final conversations? First one's love. Hallelujah. And it can be the first time someone said, "I love you," like between a mother and daughter-in-law. Who said, "We never said it. We did before she died." It can be the millionth time that I heard from so many people. It can be holding their hand. It can be a kiss. It can be a final look, as my mom did. My mom was in a coma, and she was with my dad, and he was just holding her hand and kissing her on the cheek, and she came out of her coma for a split second. And he said, "Maureen," I was walking through, he said, "Maureen, look, she's out of her coma." I saw her last breath. But she said goodbye to him alone. It was the 2 of them after 50 years together. And he goes, "That was love." I said, "Yes, Dad, that was love." Identity. Identity is how we find out who we are. Identity occurs through communication. So you're told as a little kid, from the time you're born until even now, you're the bright one, you're the pretty one, you're the smart one, you're the funny one, you're the stupid one. I hope you don't get that one. But we get these messages from people. Well, at the end of life, these messages became really important, because if you're lucky enough to get in the presence, to talk with your loved one who is dying, it means you're special. And if they're telling you what they think about you, how to change your life, or how to quit putting yourself down, you're going to listen. In this picture, this is Gloria and Jacob. Jacob was about 9 there, and he died when he was 19 years old. And he told his mom, traditional Hispanic family never went to college. Anybody. He said, "Mom, you need to go to college for us, because I can't go. And you're smart enough, and you are so good with kids, and you need to help them." After he died, Gloria went to college, and became a social worker. She graduated. Gloria just passed in December, and now she gets to be hugging Jacob. She's probably here right now. Grace happens. These are all the religious and spiritual messages that we receive. So it can be simply saying the Our Father, or it can be, as my brother-in-law, when he was dying, he was in a band with my husband, and the band members came in and sang Amazing Grace to him as a song they sang all the time. And that was their goodbye to him. It can be a spiritual experience. A spiritual experience is something you've never had before, and you're not sure what's going on. So this woman named Betty Lynn told me a story about how she was laying in the family room and on a recliner, waiting for this man to die who was married to her chosen mother. And her eyes are closed, and she sees this light come in, this ball of light come in and land right here on her heart. And she knew it was Cece, the man who was dying. And she said, Cece, I'm going to take care of Ruth, his wife. He said, I promise I'm going to take care of her, and you're going to be fine. You can let go. I know you're in pain. She held his spirit for about 10, 15 minutes, she told me. And then she saw the ball go up of light and out the window. And the minute it went out the window, she heard code blue. He died. It changed her life. She changed careers. She said, I was called to be a midwife at death. And so she went back and got a counseling degree, and grief counseling was her specialty. And then she also eventually became a minister. Everyday talk. This one surprised me. Do you know how you create and maintain your relationships every day? Through everyday talk and routine interactions. It is, honey, here's a coffee for you in the morning, right next to your bed, so you don't have to get up. You can just drink your coffee. It is the kiss good morning. It is a kiss goodbye. It is a kiss hello when you come back. It's here's what I did today. It is reading stories to the children at when they're ready to go to bed. It's something routine. And when our loved one dies, it's those things you're going to miss the most, because those are the things you're used to having with you. That's what creates the relationships. It's not these big moments. They're lovely. We want them too. But it's these everyday ones that create our relationships. Healing damaged relationships is the next theme. And this is for people who have a difficult relationship. So not all of us have a perfect relationship with our parent or a sibling. But we're feeling this anger and we're feeling this frustration because we don't know how to talk to this person who we've never been able to talk with. I had a few brave souls who came and talked to me. And for all those people, about 20% of my population said that was the most important conversation for me. It was my chance to start healing the wound, to take out the garbage within the relationship, and to realize that this person didn't necessarily mean to hurt me. They just didn't know how to love me in the way I needed to be loved. They were a good grandmother, perhaps. They were a good church member, but they weren't a good mother. That was a story a woman told me. And her mother wasn't a good mother to her. She didn't have a role model. And she realized she's flawed, but she did the best she could. And the last theme is the business of death and dying. This was one of the most important conversations for those who are dying. And this came up later in my studies. Because those of us who go on living, okay, this is important. You don't realize how important it is until after the person dies. And you go, oh, thank God. This person gave me the passwords. This person wrote down who to call when my water heater goes out. This person told me what to do at the end of life so that I didn't make them suffer longer. And they made their own choices about what kind of medical intervention they wanted. They told me whether they wanted a traditional funeral, or they wanted a celebration of life, or they wanted to be shot up in the rocket. Yes, you can do that. You can put some of your cremated things into a rocket, or into the ocean and become part of a coral reef. Or one little one wanted a party. And so when he died, they had a big party for him, and they had jumpy houses, and they painted the faces, and it's what he wanted. So what does this mean for us? Okay, those are nice things. What does it mean for us? It means that we can accept the death. None of us want to, but we can accept the death because we see them accepting it. And we see them suffering, and we see them shrinking, and we don't want to see them in pain anymore. It lets us start to accept that we're going to lose this loved one. It shows us we can cope. Maybe we learn that in these stressful times, I need to go take a walk, or I need to go out in nature, or I need to make sure I drink enough water and eat a balanced food. But we take all these coping skills into the rest of our lives. We also grow. Gloria grew. Gloria went to college and changed her life and changed her career. But personal growth can also just simply be realizing I have resilience, I am smarter than I ever knew, and I can go do this next. And you're going to be shocked. These things don't happen right away, by the way. It's after reflecting on all the conversations. You don't know any of this when you're in the middle of it. You're just in the middle of the grief. We also have closure. None of us want to say goodbye to somebody. It's hard to watch someone we love die. Trust me, I know, I've seen it. But I've had people come up to me and say, my brother died in a car accident immediately. My dad had a heart attack. I didn't get to say goodbye. I have no closure. What can I do now? Nothing. You have to find closure in some other way. Talk to a therapist, talk to a minister, but you don't get it with them. They help us have closure. So what do I want you to learn? Avoidance. I want you to just start doing it. I want you to put those fears away. They're natural. It's all right that you have fears, but don't let it stop you from having a final conversation. And get over this idea that it's perfection. There's no such thing as a perfect conversation. What I want you to have is presence. Show up. Show up as often as you can, as early as you can, because those conversations start and they emerge naturally. You can't force it. They're going to emerge naturally. So show up. It is a gift. These final conversations are a gift. And I want to leave you with one last thought. I want to wish you all a good goodbye. Thank you.